salud, bonjour, konnichiwa, and all that other nautical talk. I want to talk about the weirdest game that I've ever played. And no, it's not Pets Cop, because you can't actually play Pets Cop. It's not real. We just wish that it was, so that we could give our nightmares shape and maybe confront them. Anyway, y'all ever heard of this game on the Super Nintendo? It's called Evo and the Search for Eden. I used to rent it all the time. It's a side-scrolling action RPG platformer that kind of has like Super Mario world map, where like you move around between the glowing nodes and then you go into a stage. You go from the left to the right, and then you get access to the next chunk of the world. The game is broken up into different epochs and eras. You start in the Aquarian Age, and then the Age of Amphibians, the Age of Dinosaurs, mammals, and then finally the Age of Man. I always thought it was just such a cool game, even though it's really weird and, well, oddly emotional. You wouldn't expect that, but it really is, honestly. It's got fantastic music, totally sets the tone. But even I think, no joke, probably spent like $500 renting that game, because seriously, probably rented it like 100 times over a course of like 7 years. I rented that game all the time. I love playing it. So imagine my surprise, like 26 years later, when I find out that Evo and the Search for Eden was the truncated Cliff Notes version of the PC 98 original game of 46 OKUNEN MONOGATARI, the Shinka run. 4.6 billion years story, the theory of evolution. That's what it's called. And Evo on the Super Nintendo, I'm going to hazard that that's a 6-7 hour casual game. It's really not very long at all. 46 Okunan is probably a 60-hour long JRPG. It's not an action game at all. That's completely different. It's the same premise. You start the game as a little baby sardine at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And then an earthquake occurs, thermal vents start changing the oxygen density in the ocean, and new types of coral and plankton start appearing, and as a result, new forms of life start to manifest with this new food source and these new, biomes and ecospheres that exist in the world of water. And, I'm not going to get into every single detail about this game. I do want you to play it. I think it's a good game. But I am going to tell you some key points that maybe will help motivate you. As you're going around the world, one of the main ways that you are going to survive is you have to find these watering holes. And when you're standing on the watering hole tile, your health will tick back up. Kind of like an ease game, when you're like outside and your health will just tick back up, but when you're in a dungeon, you can't do that. You're always going to find these places throughout the world. Even when you're a fish, you'll find these little places with micro words, micro kelp and little polyps and things like that for you to eat. And that's like the main way you recover your health. There's no items, there's no equipment or anything like that in this game. You have 4 stats that you put your evolution points into. You don't get EXP from fighting battles in these games. Instead, you get evolution points, and those don't like go into fill up a bar or something. Your evolution points are a currency that you spend on one of 4 different stats. Much different than the Super Nintendo version. In the Super Nintendo version, you picked a part of your body to evolve, and then you would spend points in accordance with the thing you want to evolve. In the Super Nintendo one, you had, your jaws, your head, your body, legs. While you're a fish, they're your little flipper fins. Your dorsal fin, your tail, and, as you evolve throughout the epochs and eras, the things that you can evolve change a little bit. In the PC 98 original one, however, you went through things through entire different species, entire different genus, entire different families, that sort of thing. And you did that. There's a little evolutionary chart with a bunch of tile grid thing on it. And when you get your stat all the way to the edge of the thing where you're putting points into it, you'll see a little arrow moving north, east, south, or west. And when you get the thing to the very edge, you've gained a new tier or a new point in that stat. Wisdom is at the top on the north, ferocity is on the right, vitality and durability is on the south. And I don't remember what the stat on the left side is to the west, because I don't like it, and it leads to evolutionary paths that are inferior in my opinion. So screw that stat. I don't even know what it is. Who cares? The most important stat, technically, is wisdom. Whenever you get a new tier going upwards in wisdom, you'll go up in the evolutionary chart and turn into a more powerful version of yourself. Now, it is very important to evolve into new creatures, new things, because that's how you get new abilities. But there is one particular ability that, in my opinion, is the most quintessential ability to get through this freaking game with. And that is by enhancing your ferocity and your vitality. Because eventually you will get the ability to take a bite out of your opponent. Literally, just chomp, oop. Oh, that flesh that used to make up your shoulder, I am chewing on it now. Thanks for letting me crunch on your bones to get some extra calcium. It vampires health. It costs nothing. It is a standard action. There's no turn delay. It replaces your regular attack when you get it, basically. You don't need the regular attack anymore. It does like 70% damage of a standard attack, but half the damage you deal, you recover those hit points. It's free, and you can use it forever. Level up your ferocity. Get your teeth and your talons real sharp, man. Rend your enemies apart and turn them into a golden corral buffet while you're chewing them up. It uses like Dragon Quest I style battles. There's no party members, and you only ever fight one other enemy at a time. And there's no agility involved. It's they went, you go. They went, you go. It's very simple. Where this game really takes off, in my opinion, though, is its insane story. You're being guided by Gaia, the embodiment of the earth, the anthropomorphized version of the earth as a spectral, ghostly anime girl. Gaia is telling you where to go, and it's like, oh, if you could find some way to get that volcano to erupt, the magma flow would land in this lake, and it would form a bridge so that all of these things could now migrate from one part of the world to another. Like, you're terraforming part of the world at this point. It's pretty cool. And it's also very heavily based on scientific evolutionary studies. This game is not 100% scientifically accurate, and you'll realize that when you get to the third epoch, the era of the dinosaurs. And midway through the evolutionary chains, when you turn into a lizard man with a sword and a shield and a heart breastplate armor, you might think, okay, this game's not 100% scientifically accurate, is it? The Age of Dinosaurs is when you will learn that this game is made of crack. This game is made of drugs. When you go into one of the teleporting ley lines around the planet, and kind of reminiscent of the teleportals in Dragon Quest 2 and 3, I guess. They teleport you around the world. One of them is, I'm on this weird island that I've never been able to get to here, so I finally get to this island. What is it? Oh, it's the mythological island of Mu. Spelled M-U, pronounced Mew, not Moo, not like a cow, and believe it is pronounced Mew. Mu is kind of like the same type of mythological island as Lemuria, where people believe that the continent of Lemuria is where the kingdom of Atlantis used to be built. And Lemuria and Mu are engaged in a civil war with each other. They are both populated by lizardmen. And when you go to the island of Mu and you walk into it for the first time, there's a Nazi pride parade going on. I said that. It's very clearly a Nazi parade of lizardmen. You think maybe some people in Japan regretted joining the Axis powers, maybe? Calling all the Nazis lizard people? It's pretty sharp commentary, I'm just saying. And you have to do a little James Bond spy mission and spy on the Military War Council of the Lizardmen in the Age of Dinosaurs on the island of Mu. And as you go up there, you can see that the top of their city is crowned with these megalithic, ultra-destructive, mega space laser cannon things. And the people in the War Council are like, the Atlanteans are going to pull the trigger first. We can't let that happen. We have to pull the trigger first. Y'all ever see War Games? I love that movie because at the very end it's like, war. What an interesting game. The only way to win is to not play. Yeah, that's what this moment in this story is. Because the lizard people extinct themselves by destroying each other's islands with their laser nukes. And that's why there's no such thing as lizard people anymore, and that's why Mu and Atlantis aren't around anymore, because this game is scientifically accurate. And historically accurate as well. No, it's not. So this game is drugs, okay? So you get toward the end of the game. This is around the point you can become a hominid. You can become a Cro-Magnon, you can become a troglodyte, just become like a bipedal caveman. You don't have much fur anymore. You mostly have just epidermal skin. You've learned how to use tools. You know how to, using tools is actually a really important thing. There is a point in the game where you become kind of like a blue cave imp thing. I think that's one of the best thing for tool usage, because you have to get a mammoth bone and use it as a club for something. The thing you're evolved into is actually relevant for context for plot progress at sometimes. Anyway, toward the end of the game, Lucifel shows up. I didn't mispronounce that, and it's not mistranslated. Her name is Lucifel, not Lucifer. Yes, the devil's a woman. And she challenges you to an anime duel at Stonehenge. So you go there, and she breaks you in half. Gaia starts telling you, I know I've been the one leading you this whole time. However, the way you are now, perhaps you can hear the other voice, for there is another who will lead you. And then you start to hear a disembodied voice from on high, who is not Gaia, who directs you to climb the highest mountain in the world, upon which, the top of it, you find 2 stone tablets. I wonder what this is a metaphor of. Upon and engraven onto these stone tablets by the hand and the finger of God himself are immutable, unchangeable laws of the universe that, when spoken, must be abided by. And that is the weapon you use to go fight Satan at Stonehenge again. You now have the omnipotent power of God's law in your hand. I can use the water thing to heal myself to full. I can use the earth spell to give myself a 500 HP stone skin effect. Or I can use the fire ability to make a cataclysmic volcano erupt out of the ground at my feet that doesn't harm me, but sure as heck smites the crap out of evil. And then after you literally melt Satan's flesh off and she becomes a creepy skeleton who's reaching toward the screen and trying to claw at you, she disappears, but she doesn't actually die. Surprise. And then you go to the Garden of Eden. You find your companion, who is another, hominid, bipedal, whatever. And God tells you, okay, you two are going to be the shepherds of this planet. You must lead all living things, plant and animal, to a prosperous future. Which path will you do? Which path will you utilize to lead this planet with? And now you're given a choice. 4 choices, one representing each of the 4 evolutionary traits of wisdom, strength, durability, and whatever that third stat is that I don't care about. 3 of them are wrong and lead to a bad ending. The correct choice is wisdom, which will lead you to the final chapter. 60,000 years later, you have to choose wisdom to lead mankind. Don't lead mankind with ferocity and violence. Why would you think that's the right choice? Are you an idiot? This entire game has taught you that the path toward progress is built on the foundation of wisdom. That is how you have grown. Why would you choose anything but wisdom? And in the final chapter, you are now an Esper. You are a psychic human being that doesn't even need to walk on the ground anymore. You are permanently locked into like a cross-legged Indian pose, hovering off the ground in your crazy anime armor. You are the prophet. You are the leader of mankind. You are still that same organism from 6.4 billion years ago at the bottom of the ocean before dry land existed. You are that same organism that has been put through a 2001 Space Odyssey black obelisk time portal going through multiple epochs, guided by both God and Gaia herself. You are the leader of the entire world. And it starts with you boarding a cathedral spaceship. And everyone you talk to is just like, good luck, sir. All of our hopes and dreams and prayers are with you. And you go to the bridge, and the ship launches out into space, and everyone is telling you, like, all right, sir, now we know that you wounded Lucifer a long time ago, but we've been doing some reading, and it turns out that Lucifer is actually Lucifer. Who would have thought? What a major twist. No one saw that coming, obviously. But no, yeah, it's actually Satan, and it's a woman for some reason. And she is not dead. She has escaped to the Andromeda Galaxy into the centermost core of its black hole, where she has been causing it to grow, absorbing and devouring the entirety of the Andromeda Galaxy to create her new body that she births herself into by hatching out of the black hole as though it were an egg. And she brings one of her, claws that is like 20,000 times larger than Jupiter itself, and just destroys and obliterates the bridge of your ship and annihilates your physical body in the process. And then Gaia, as once again a transcendental, glowing, giant anime spirit girl ghost, appears out in space and tells you, you no longer need a physical body. You have evolved past the need for it. You are now an energy being. You are made of pure light. You are being held together and capitulated by the prayers of the faithful upon the earth. Let us go forth into battle one last time. And no longer able to be destroyed because you don't even have a physical form anymore. You annihilate and obliterate and crush and smite the devil into cosmic space dust. And then the camera begins to pan out, showing the vast grandioseness of all existence throughout the universe, and makes a suggestion that even the decaying, charred, broken remnants of something as cosmically evil as the devil, once they are destroyed and separated from the evil that once was, will become the basis of a new planet when it coalesces and accretes its mass together. This story will begin anew. What a freaking amazing game. Holy crap, just talking about it kind of gave me goosebumps a little bit. You should play it. It actually got an official English translation. Well, official. Look, it's not official. I don't know why I said that. I'm an idiot. But look, it's these groups that translate these games that do high quality things for it. I don't know. That's just the word I use for it. Don't sue me. I said one wrong word in the whole video. I'll slap you and your mom. Don't correct me. Anyway, yeah, it's in English now. You can play it, and I strongly suggest either you play through it or just watch someone else play through it. Just watch videos on YouTube, but check it out. I guarantee you have never seen a game with more imagination and originality as 46 OKUNEN MONOGATARI, the Shinka. One of my favorite games of all time. Ever since I've seen it. When I first saw it, it was in Japanese. I didn't even see the English version of it at first. And I was like, this is top 25 for me, hands down. This is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And I hope you'll give it a chance. And if not, I hope just learning about it was entertaining. Anyway, hope you all have a good one. God bless. Peace.